Scott just made the point.
Jefferson used to be a lot more secure, not just.
We are Borg. You will be assimilated.
I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile.
No, he's not Locutus of Borg. He's McConnell of Kentucky, and he's not the tactical commander of a cybernetic alien race. He's just a Democrat. I'm Steve Green. This is Trifecta. Let's bring on Scott Ott and Bill Whittle and see if between the three of us we can figure out exactly how the Democratic collective assimilated the GOP majority leader, and I think the entire GOP Senate leadership, too. Gents, over the weekend, McConnell held a rare Sunday vote which split the GOP right down the middle to end debate on the controversial Export-Import Bank and attach its reauthorization, which had lapsed, to a highway spending bill. It took 24 rhinos and every available Democrat to get the job done, but McConnell got his pork-laden highway bill and a reauthorization of the Ex-Im Bank, which is opposed by the GOP grassroots. Now, the headline in the Washington Times reads, Obamacare repeal loses, Ex-Im Bank wins in GOP-held Senate votes. Scott, I'm so confused. Would you explain to our viewers how the heck it happens that Mitch McConnell is, as he claims, still a Republican?
Well, it suits him. I mean, right now, it benefits him to go under the name Republican. And I think that's the only thing that makes any sense. I mean, I've never really thought of Mitch McConnell as a stalwart of the conservative movement or anything like that. He's a manipulator. He's a user. He's a fixer. He's a senator. I mean, he just does what they do in Washington, D.C., and it's despicable. Attaching something like this to must-pass legislation, and then you can sit back. He'll go back to his home district, by the way, and disavow any involvement in renewing the Ex-Im Bank, because it really wasn't his intention to vote on that. He just had to vote for this must-pass legislation, and that's the game they play. And it happens over and over again. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing. It's a power thing, and as long as he wants to hold on to power, this is the kind of thing he does.
Scott, I want to give you a quick follow-up. Over on the House side, they're just going to ignore the Senate's highway bill. It's DOA, so this betrayal of the grassroots GOP is really for naught legislatively. Is that any way? Is that a smart way for McConnell to play politics?
I don't know what the play is here. It's hard for, I mean, normal people, when they look at what happens in Washington, D.C., just scratch their heads. They say, what could he possibly be doing? Like in this case, if he already knew what John Boehner or what the House was going to do with it, why in the world would he intentionally stick his thumb in the eye of the base of Republicans, unless he looks at what we consider to be the base of the Republican Party as the fringe of the Republican Party to which he owes no allegiance?
I'm telling you, he's been assimilated, Scott. Believe it or not, it gets worse from there. Locutus of Capitol Hill threw away a huge opportunity on Sunday. I mean, another huge opportunity. Following last week's revelations of baby parts for Lamborghinis at Planned Parenthood, there was an amendment proposed to block further funding, but the leader blocked an amendment to that highway bill that would have defunded the organization. McConnell used a tactic called filling the tree, made popular by Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid when he was Majority Leader, to block Republicans from being able to offer amendments to Democratic bills. Filling the tree is when the allotted time for amendments is loaded by the leader, generally with small, insignificant measures, favored by the Majority Leader who controls the process, crowding out everyone else. Bill, on three issues near and dear to the GOP grassroots, their own Senate Majority Leader twisted the rules of the Senate to make sure that the Democrat position won all three times. McConnell didn't fight the good fight for his team and then bravely lose. He actively fought for the other side. Is there any doubt in your mind that McConnell is a member of the Democrat collective?
There's somebody in the Civil War, I want to say it was General Halleck, I'm not sure, but they referred to him as an old googly-eyed snapping turtle, and that's the kindest thing I have to say about this guy. You know, if somebody would ever run against Mitch McConnell in Kentucky, a young Democrat, let's say, I'd write that guy a check and I'd go out and campaign for him. I don't care what party he is. I don't care if he's a communist. This guy has got to go. There's no difference between him and Harry Reid. Harry Reid's maybe a little better looking. The just where do you start with this? Where do you start with this lying, mendacious, no good for nothing, soulless, gutless, principleless, absolute, everything wrong with politics in America you can sum up with Harry Reid and or Mitch McConnell. Has anybody ever seen them in the same room, by the way? I'm just convinced they're a pair of wire-rimmed spectacles and a hairstyle away from each other. I'm not sure that they're not the same person after all. He is exactly why we lose elections. He's exactly why the country is out of control. You know, we blame the progressives for all of this out-of-control spending and all of this out-of-control regulation. But this spending and regulation could have been stopped by an opposition if there was an opposition, and there is no opposition. I sat at a lunch shoulder to shoulder with Harry Reid in 2009, I want to say, and he was so proud of the fact that he cut $10 billion from a $4 trillion budget, and the $10 billion were going to take place $1 billion over 10 years. I mean, he was as tickled as he could be at this giant, incredible sacrifice and advance on the part of conservative principles. Will somebody please send this old man home, please?
People of Kentucky, it's up to you. Folks, let us travel now to the 24th century when the entire planet Earth has been assimilated by the Democrat collective.
The atmosphere contains high concentrations of methane, carbon monoxide, and fluorine.
Life signs?
Population approximately 9 billion. All Borg.
How?
They must have done it in the past. They went back and assimilated Earth, changed history.
But if they changed history, why are we still here?
Why are we still here? To fight against it. Starting with Mitch McConnell. Harry Reid. Mitch, I don't know who they are anymore. For Bill Whittle and Scott Ott, I'm Steve Green.